The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 0. Chapter 22. Laurel. You receive a sending from your brother confirming he's on his way. It's the day of the planned escape, and he'll be waiting approximately 1 mile north of the professor's office at 8 o'clock. By then, it'll be dark enough that his carriage won't be easily spotted, and the three of you can also get away without being seen. Professor Senos, during this time, will be attending a formal dinner in town. The clock in the library tolls 5 times. Anon continues to pore over a textbook on the linguistic history of the Elvish language, but you excuse yourself for the day. You know that regardless of how enraptured he is by the work, he'll usually pack up by 6, before the other researchers come home and monopolize the kitchen. You have at most an hour to prepare. You drop off your book bag in your apartment, and you grab the set of thieves' tools you recently purchased. Your brother taught you how to use a lockpick. This unusual skill is a remnant of Elithor's rebellious phase when he joined the local thieves' guild, which turned out to only be a legal coterie of lockpicking enthusiasts who partner with law enforcement to design more pick-proof security technology. He quit shortly thereafter. The locks to your rooms are rudimentary, and yours in particular is so loose that you can sometimes jiggle the knob open without your key. Outside Anon's door, you kneel and carefully insert the tension wrench inside. It's already loose. Without issue, you click each of the pins and the knob twists, opening the door. You tiptoe over to the bookshelves, where multiple spell scrolls are sorted and labeled. There are some 50 or so scrolls, representing months of, most likely, unpaid work. By stealing them, you are, in a way, no better than Professor Senos. "I'm so sorry," you whisper. You take a scroll labeled Enhance Ability, and you place down 10 gold. It's not anywhere close to covering the costs of any of these spells. You're taking from someone who is probably in a similar situation as you are, targeted by Senos to become an obedient servant because losing this opportunity means losing everything. You also grab 3 Dispel Magic Scrolls, as well as Invisibility, Thunderstep, and Haste. You prestidigitate the area clean before shuffling back to your room. You packed all your belongings the night before. You were taught to live frugally, and never to leave behind any personal effects that would reveal your true name and identity. The only items you have are your amulet, your wand, your new shift weave from Elithor, a few days of normal clothing, your old spellbook, and a textbook on first-level illusion spells. Everything else here is littered with books and papers belonging to the professor. You change into your shift weave, transforming it into plain travel clothes, and you hoist your backpack over your shoulder. You prestidigitate the room, and then you wait by your door for Anon to come back. At around 6, you hear his footsteps climbing up the stairs. As soon as he opens and closes his door, you hurry out of your own room, rushing down to the ground floor as briskly yet quietly as possible. No one else should be in the professor's office anymore. You sprint to it, looking over your shoulder at your old apartment one last time. It did, at least briefly, give you a sense of stability and comfort. Why you chose to abandon it all, why you made all the decisions you did. You may be the stupidest person alive. You reach the front door, and the magical seal releases. You push it open. "In all my years of teaching, I have never met a student or an employee as disappointing as you, Laurel." Professor Senos is sitting by the fireplace, staring into the continual flames, hands folded, elbows on the armrest. Your heart stops. You swallow, but your throat is dry. Fuck. Did you really think you could outsmart him, you moron? "I have given you many chances, Laurel. Many opportunities. I have forgiven you for your first blatant act of disobedience. And this is how you repay me?" You can sense the anger boiling beneath his measured voice. Right next to him is the bookshelf that leads to the basement. They're waiting for you. You take a step forward and close the door behind you. "You do not have to do this, Laurel. You still have time to change your mind. Go back to your room. You are not yet past the point of no return." You suck in the thin air, trying to force your heart to slow. You stomp 3 times slowly and 2 times quickly. You take another step. "Laurel," he says in an almost sing-song condescending tone. "Go back. This is your final warning." You need to get him away from the bookshelf. You let out a low, discordant humming, and you whisper, "You're right that I'm not past that point, but I know that you are." You raise your arms, sending out a blast of psychic energy toward him. You hate this spell, but it's the only thing you can reliably do. The professor snaps his fingers, and your psionic spell disperses. He stands, shaking his head. "You would have done well under my tutelage. If only you listened." He pulls out his wand and points it at you. You race to the bookshelves. "Bach! Bach, can you hear me? You need to get out now. Push the bookshelf down if you can." The faster you move your legs, the further back you seem to go. Your feet grow heavy, like they're wading through molasses. Your knees buckle, and the room begins to spin. The professor stands over you, casting his looming shadow. He looks down at you, smiling, unblinking, the wand still pointed at you. "They can't hear you," he says. "But don't worry. You'll see them again. Why don't you come downstairs with me? Stay seated down there and leave your things behind up here." Your limbs begin to move against your will. The professor places his hands on the bookshelf, and with a pop, it creaks open. Bach and Miley are not waiting on the other side. Your shoulders go lax, and your backpack slips off, hitting the ground with a thud. Down the dark stairs, you descend, reaching the bottom, dragging your feet across the gritty floor toward a table, and sitting before a softly flickering candle.